Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. Hope you're all doing great this week, and welcome to a new vacation series video right here. These are pre-recorded, but they should be timeless, or at least they should be a little bit more long-term, so they should still be valuable. I put quite a lot of time in them, so hopefully you can actually enjoy them as well. In this video, what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to go over 2025 and some of the most important news events that will happen and that will influence prices and the crypto market as a whole. All right, so we're going to be talking about two major news events. One is a little bit more specific for cryptocurrencies. That is about ETFs, which, by the way, I've made a video on this before, which I might be able to actually check it out, where I spoke about the potential I think that certain ETFs have. So if you're interested in that, then you might want to check that out as well. But here I'll talk a little bit more about which coins will be affected and to what extent they will most likely be affected. All right, so we'll talk about that. And then there's one other thing that's more general to the entire crypto market that I think you need to know about as well. We'll talk about some key dates, etc. All right, so let's get right into it. So first of all, ETFs will absolutely make the prices move, right? And this is a little bit difficult because like the main coins that will be affected by this and that actually have a high likelihood to be accepted are Litecoin, Solana, XRP, Dogecoin, Cardano, Polkadot, Hedera, and Avalanche. All right, so those are the main coins that will be influenced. But like I said, some of them will perform better than others. To give you a brief overview of which ones I think will do well, I think Solana initially is going to sell off and after that can do well. I don't think Litecoin is going to do well, but their nuance does come in. At this point of time, for example, Litecoin actually does look very good, and Litecoin can still rally ahead of the ETF and then dump after. What we have seen so far with ETF launches is that there were always rallies and there was always bullish price action going into the ETF, right? Into the acceptance, into the approval, into the launch, and then a drop afterwards. I think XRP is going to be amazing. I have a little bit of a bias towards that, but XRP, like these ETFs are usually like they're mostly for the US, and XRP is such a huge US community, and there's not going to be much supply overhang when the ETF launches, which is something we did see with Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? Trusts converting into ETFs, and then those trusts selling off. We don't really have that with XRP, or at least to a lesser extent. Cardano, I'm not too interested. Dogecoin, I think, can be interesting. Polkadot can be interesting just because it's performed so bad over the last years that it might actually do some recovery. Hedera, I'm not certain. Avalanche, I'm not certain either. But I would say the standard to expect with all of these ETFs is that they will rally ahead of the launch, right? And ahead of the approval, which you can see the final deadlines on the screen right here, right? So this is the final deadline where the SEC has to decide. So some of them are quite late, but most of them are in October. You can see the probabilities. You can also see some others that might be approved, or at least have a possibility of being approved. And then what I would expect in general for all of these is bullish momentum ahead of it and sell-offs afterwards, right? And sell-offs afterwards, I think, are going to be less for XRP, less for Dogecoin. No, that's about it. Let's keep it at that. The other ones all have trusts which can sell off, but these will 100% make the prices move. Could be bullish, could be bearish. If we see some sort of a major decline in prices still over the course of August, September, I think buying into these approvals is a massive opportunity. If we see a lot of momentum going into September and October, I think these are actually like 1 or 2 weeks before these ETF approvals. I think they're more sell the news events. But definitely keep your eyes on this. And then the two other things that I wanted to talk about regarding 2025 are rate cuts. All right, and this has been a massive story, of course, over the last couple of months with the tariffs and with the inflation rate data. Like, can we actually expect interest rate cuts or not? So what I think is crucial is that you not only keep your eyes on all the interest rate meetings that we will have, which will be 17 September, 29 October, and the 10th of December, but also at the probabilities. If you type in Fed Watch, so FED Watch, and then interest rate probabilities, then you will get to this page right here, and you can see every meeting, and you can see the probabilities at which rate cut or at which interest rate we will be at that point of time. So at this point of time, for September, we're pricing in a 91% chance at a rate cut. That's great. If that decreases, that can be bearish, right? And that's going to influence the markets. So for September, it's quite certain. But for example, for October, first of all, you should be aware of when the interest rate decisions are. But second of all, you should also be aware of the expectation. And then the third thing that actually works in tandem with this is keep your eyes on economic data, right? So look up an economic calendar, such as my FX book, which we have on the screen right now, and keep your eyes on two major data points, and that's employment data, so jobless claims, unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls. We'd want to ideally see more unemployment for rate cuts, and keep your eyes on inflation rate data. So CPI, inflation rate data, PCE price index, all right? And we want to see lower readings there to get a higher probability at more rate cuts. All right, and if that happens, and if you see these probabilities change, so for example, this is for October, if this increases right here, the left one, which is another rate cut in October, then that is going to have a bullish effect on the markets, not only on crypto, but also on the general financial markets, and you should be aware of that, and you should be keeping an eye on this. All right, those are the two main things that I think we can already predict that these are going to make prices move and that there are going to be major. So keep your eyes on these, and hopefully my kind of thoughts around them have helped a little bit. But that's it for now. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all in my next videos, and bye.